Hi, it's Mark from Talk Local. I'm here with Bernie Pawlik Automotive in Vancouver, Vancouver's best auto service experience, 24-time winners, 24 times. Best auto repair in Vancouver as voted by their customers. We're talking about a Volvo today. How you doing, Bernie?
Doing very well.
So all-wheel drive system on a Volvo. What was going on with this vehicle?
Yeah, so this vehicle had a warning light on the dash that the all-wheel drive system wasn't functioning. That's basically the issue. The owner also noted that when there was some slippery surfaces, it didn't feel like the four-wheel drive system was actually working.
So what testing and diagnosis did you do?
So first thing, hook up a scan tool to the vehicle computers, did a full system scan. There was two codes in the all-wheel drive module or rear differential. I can't remember which term they use on this particular vehicle, but there's two codes, one for a communication issue with the differential module and one for a pump issue with the pump. So we did some testing on the system as much as we could under the vehicle, found that the pump was definitely bad. And that was our first item to replace. As far as communication errors, sometimes if there's a component as part of the system, it'll create a communication error on certain vehicles. Other times the communication error could actually be that the module had failed or something else. So we figured the pump was the first place to start because we knew that was a problem.
So you replaced the pump. Did you have to do anything else after that?
So what we did is we replaced the pump. Along with the pump, we also replaced the filter and serviced the fluid. I mean, some of the fluid had to come out anyways, but it's a good idea to service the fluid once in a while in these systems because it's a kind of a critical part of the system to use the right fluid. So we serviced the fluid, the pump, the filter, tested it all out, and there were still issues.
So what was the next step?
Yeah, so the next step, so we rescanned it. There's still a communication error code. So just did a little further testing on the wiring to the module to make sure there was proper power, ground, communication circuits, that sort of thing. It was all good. So at that point, there's really only two things left. I mean, most likely the module, possible issue with the actual clutch packs, but not very likely considering the code was a communication code. So we proceeded to have the module repaired and replaced.
So what's involved in replacing the module?
Well, labor-wise, it's pretty simple. It bolts onto the side of the engine, on the side of the engine, sorry, the side of the differential, and I'll get some pictures up in a second. But there's really a couple of options available for replacement. There's brand new from the Volvo dealer. There's used modules if one can find them, and also having them rebuilt. We have a company that rebuilds a lot of electronic components, and they actually do a really good job of these things. They do a lot of them. So I'll just get into some pictures here. So we went with the rebuilt option. So there's our Volvo. This is an S60R model, which is kind of cool. It's like the high performance edition and it goes well. It drives real nice, all-wheel drive, nice high performance Volvo. There's the module. This is the rebuilt unit. The nice thing about these rebuilds is they come programmed. That's an issue. If you buy a used one, it may need to be reprogrammed to the vehicle. Modern vehicles, they all have to be, modules need to be programmed so the computers connect with each other. I don't know why such complexity, but for some reason they do it, and it just makes repairs more fiddly and expensive. But these come reprogrammed, which is a good thing. If you're buying a new one from Volvo or a used unit, you probably have to do the same thing. Anyways, here's a view of the differential unit. This is the Haldex unit here, and this is the module here, kind of looking at the other side of it from what that picture was. The pump's located here. This is the drive shaft that comes in the front of the vehicle, hooks up with this coupler here. And then inside this area, there's all the clutch packs that kind of do the all-wheel drive operation. So there's our picture show for the day. But yeah, the module basically is quite simple. It just bolts onto the side with some electrical connectors.
And how did everything work once the module was replaced?
Perfect. The warning lights were all out, no more codes, all-wheel drive system worked great.
So is there anything unique about this Haldex all-wheel drive system?
They actually use it on a number of different European vehicles. This system is used on Land Rover LR2s as well. There's some Volkswagens that have Haldexes, but this type, I mean, what's unique about it, it uses electronics to control the slippage between the front and rear axles, which is important for, good driving comfort and then also good, differential lockup when you need it in slippery conditions.
So is this a typical failure in these units at some point in their life?
Some do. I mean, the modules do fail. We've replaced all sorts of bits and pieces on these, like modules, pumps. They all tend to have problems, but there are many Volvo models that don't have problems at all. So it's not sort of a guaranteed failure if you own one of these, but you may run into one or two of these items. And sometimes, the pump will be bad and it'll actually take the module out. So, it's often better, even though we did this in a couple of sequences, that if the module is bad, it's often a good idea to replace the pump at the same time because it can cause the module to go. And it would be a shame to put a module in and have it blow out because the pump was not replaced. It's drawing too much current or something like that.
And it works really well as far as a 4-wheel drive system.
Yeah,
Right?
it does for sure. I mean, you can't really tell you have it. If everything's working well, you can't really tell it's a 4-wheel drive. If you've driven any, I always think of like American trucks or like a Jeep where you put it in 4 low, when everything's locked in, you go around a corner on pavement and the wheels start hopping and grinding and binding. So, you don't get any of that kind of thing on this sort of vehicle. So you can be driving in 4-wheel drive all the time, but it controls things so it's comfortable to drive.
If you're looking for service for your Volvo in Vancouver, they work on a lot of them. Pawlik Automotive, you can reach them at 604-327-7112 to book your appointment. You have to call and book ahead, or you can book online at pawlikautomotive.com. They'll call and check and talk to you, find out exactly what the problem might or might not be. Thanks so much for watching. We really appreciate it. You can check out our YouTube channel, Pawlik Auto Repair, thousands of videos on there. All makes and models, types of repairs. Thanks, Bernie.
Thanks, Mark. Thanks for watching.